Swing low, sweet chariot, come and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, come and carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? A band of angels coming after me. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, tell all my people I'm coming there too. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. When you get there, there'll be no pain, and Mama will be there calling your name. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. For you I sing, the light that brings the voices of the children, of golden leaves on bending trees, the wind that blows them over, across the hills and canyons wide, to touch the water flowing, and all along the mountainsides, beyond the fields of clover. For you I sing, the colors bright, dancing on the rainbow that moves across the darkened sky, the bridge that crosses over to all the places we have been, to those whose love has carried us like the birds who rise on wings through the clouds and over. For you I sing, the light that brings the voices of the children. For you I sing, the colors bright, dancing on the rainbow. For you I sing, for you I sing, for you I sing the rainbow. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sound. Let there be tears. Let there be fear and fancy. We are like a flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Let there be darkness. Let there be sun rising. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Let there be light, let there be hope shining. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair. My name is Marcus Gray Hauk. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I serve as the Director of Music Ministries for our congregation. Welcome, it's good to have you with us. If you're watching this service live on Sunday morning on Facebook or YouTube, we invite you to share your name and your location in the comments section. The hymn we're going to be singing today and at the beginning of every service for the rest of May is Sekeli Aldash. Aldash means blessing. It's Hungarian. And Sekeli is the name of a subgroup of the Hungarian people who are living mostly in part of Romania known as Transylvania. And some of you might know that Transylvania is where the Unitarian religion has its origins. This song, which was written by my friend and colleague Beth Norton, she's a music director in a UU congregation outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And she wrote this in the early 2000s for a trip that her choir was taking to visit their partner congregation in Transylvania. And the text has two parts. One part is in English and the other one is in Hungarian. We're going to start by learning the English portion today to get to know the tune. And then next week we'll get into the Hungarian. The hymns today will be led by our member, Susie Roman Luna.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is breaking in my soul. Oh, where are dear parents? Oh, where are dear parents? Oh, where are dear parents? Day is breaking in my soul. They are in the valley praying. They are in the valley praying. They are in the valley praying. Day is breaking in my soul.
Whoever you are, wherever you come from, what age, ability, history, identity, gender, or sexual orientation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. I am Joshua Brome, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. Today's service is titled Two Truths and a Lie, and today we'll honor motherhood as we honor capacity to mother, to bring forth life in as many forms. If you have a school-aged children, please register for our Amazing Children Religious Education Program. If you are joining us at 10 a.m., please continue with us for a virtual connection cafe beginning at 11 a.m. It's time to light our chalice. Perhaps you have a chalice or candle at your home. Anything that you can illumine. Let's light our collective challenges as we share our chalice lighting affirmation. Let us open our senses to take in the beauty. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another.
Throughout the month of May, we will be honoring our religious education classes, our teachers and our learners. And today we honor our kindergarten through first grade class. They engaged the curriculum, Creating Home, Wonderful Welcome. With incredible gratitude for the teaching team of Jason Brome, Lauren Havens, Laura Kushner, Katie Hewlett, and youth intern Zori Hilton, we share today's Time for All Ages, The Gates of the Forest by Elie Wiesel. When the great Rabbi Israel Baal Shem Tov saw misfortune threatening the Jews, it was his custom to go into a certain part of the forest to meditate. There he would light a fire, say a special prayer, and the miracle would be accomplished and the misfortune averted.
Years later, when a disciple of the Baal Shem Tov, the celebrated Majid of Mezrich, had occasion for the same reason to intercede with heaven, he would go to the same place in the forest and say,
Master of the universe, listen. I do not know how to light the fire, but I'm still able to say the prayer.
And again, the miracle was accomplished.
Still later, another rabbi, Rabbi Moshe Leib of Sassov, in order to save his people once more, would go into the forest and say,
I do not know how to light the fire. I do not know how to say the prayer, but I know the place, and this must be sufficient.
It was sufficient, and the miracle was accomplished.
The years passed, and it fell to Rabbi Israel of Rizim to overcome misfortune. Sitting in his armchair, his head in his hands, he spoke to God.
I am unable to light the fire. I do not know the prayer, and I cannot even find the place in the forest. All I can do is tell the story, and this must be sufficient.
And it was sufficient. All the last rabbi could do was tell the story. The rest had been lost to time, to the fragility, the imperfection of memory. Yet even that was enough. It was enough to tell the story. Stories are enough for miracles.
Called now by this invocation into worship, we turn to seek a soft meditation, a deep reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called, yet mystically all together. And we enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. Judy Reinierson lights this candle of sorrow for her dear friend and fellow National Choral Board member, Myra Tobin. Judy looked up to Myra as a successful New York City working woman and Kentucky ranch owner, and as her kind and wise mentor and friend. Myra will be so missed by all who knew her. We light this candle for Ghana Hilton's Aunt Clementine Young and her uncle Edward Whiters. We hold Ghana in our respect as she mourns these dear ones. We light this candle for the people of India. May this light focus our attention and our dedication to bring help and healing to a nation overrun with the ravages of COVID-19. We light this candle to mourn the stabbing of 2 Asian American women in San Francisco on Tuesday and the devastating number of hate crimes that have occurred across our nation. We light this final candle for the joys and sorrows that have not been spoken aloud. In the silence that follows, you are encouraged to speak the names of those of you who are holding joys and sorrows in your prayers or meditations, or to write them into the chat. May we hold this silence as the silence holds us. May our listening bring forth acts of love. Join me in a spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, let us remember our stories now. Let us remember the stories of our survival, knowing that up until this point, we have survived everything we have encountered, whether we thought we could or not. Just like that sparkle in the forest, the miracle of our survival has been accomplished. Spirit of connection, let us remember our stories of blessed memories. For each of us has a space, a time, a place in which we have loved, have shared, have known, and been known, and now must be connected in spirit and in memory only. Spirit of compassion, let us remember our stories of beloved community. Let us continue to build our congregation so that each of us feels that we have a place to belong. Amen and Ashe. May it be so.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive inspires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now. What a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the community we build, by the neighbors we support. When you give to our offering, 80% of your gift will care for the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair, and 20% will support our justice recipient. Or May Sharing Our Riches recipient is Wind of the Spirit. Wind of the Spirit works with immigrant communities to ensure their access to information and empowerment. They currently support communities in the city of Orange and several New Jersey towns. Partnering with First Unitarian Universalist Church of Essex, they presented the Know Your Rights and Sanctuary City campaigns. Among other efforts, they made and distributed over 10,000 face coverings, provided a COVID awareness training to 2,000 workers, and ensured that 3,000 families were registered to the census. You can text to give, mail us a check, or go to our homepage and click on the donate button. This is a time of need. All of your gifts are worthy, and they are all received with love. Our reading is a poem entitled My Mother's God by the Australian poet and translator Jeff Page. My mother's God has written the best of the Protestant proverbs. You make the bed, you lie in it. God helps him who helps himself. He tends to shy away from churches, is more to be found in phone calls to daughters or rain clouds over rusty grass. The Catholics have got him wrong entirely. Too much waving the arms about, the incense as caftan, that rainbow light. He's leaner than that. Lean as a pair of grocer's scales. Hard as a hammer at cattle sales. The third and final time of asking. His face is most clear in a scrubbed wooden table, or deep in the shine of a Laminex bench. He's also observed at weddings and funerals by strict invitation, not knowing quite which side to sit on. His second book, my mother says, is often now too well received. The first is where the center is, tooth for claw and eye for tooth. Whoever tried the other cheek? Well, Christ maybe, but that's another story. God, like her, by dint of coursework, has a further degree in predestination. Immortal, omniscient, no doubt of that. He nevertheless keeps regular hours
and wipes his feet clean on the mat, is not to be seen at 3 a.m. His portrait is done in a vigorous charcoal, is fixed on the inner curve of her forehead, omnipotent there. In broad black strokes, he does not move. It is not easy, she'd confess, to be my mother's God. Our anthem follows. We will hear O Mama Bakudala. This is a traditional Xhosa song from South Africa. It is sung at the beginning of gatherings or celebrations as an invocation to the spirits of matriarchal ancestors. Let this anthem call to our matriarchal ancestors, honoring them for bringing forth life.
Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Oh, mama bakudale babe tandaza. Babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza, babe tandaza. Oh, yeah.
We have invoked with reverence the matriarchal ancestors, and we do this knowing the imperfection inherent in our terms. We honor our matriarchs assigned with the gender female and those who are not, and we honor aware of the imperfection of our ancestors, as well as the imperfection that we bear. So we begin with reverence and an awareness of imperfection, just like this story from my past. It may have been about 5 years back, my mother's idea. She, her sister Joanne, and I were to go to my bubby, their mom's, my grandmother's, grave. We were to sit there on lawn chairs pouring white wine into plastic cups, and we were to talk for as long as we could, about as much as we could, remembering. My mother's God. Remember the poem that Nina Cook-John read so beautifully? The poem spoke about the God that the poet's mom understood. Well, my mother's God is incessantly irreverent. It doesn't ask her to kneel at gravesides in long black robes. It invites her to swill cheap wine from a plastic perch, laughing. I love my mother's God. It's imperfect and approachable, and yet somehow still reverent. Just like that day was, with the three of us, touching the sacred, communing with our dear departed, with the simplest tools that we could find. It's like the rabbi from our story, who didn't remember the place in the forest, or the prayer, or even how to light the fire, but the rabbi could tell the story, and that was enough. We were telling the story of our love, and that was enough for the miracle to happen. Since that day, we've buried my mother's sister Joanne. And I hope someday soon to invite my mom and Joanne's 3 children to sit by Joanne's grave so we can tell the story of our love in some imperfect but approachable way. Sometimes our reverence, sometimes our honesty is imperfect and approachable when it's passed through this human foil. This is why I've titled this Mother's Day sermon, 2 Truths and a Lie. Do you recall that childhood game? In it, each participant is expected to tell 2 truths and a lie, and the others are left to guess which is which, to decide which statement was falsified. So here, let's play. I'm a Unitarian Universalist. My faith heritage is Jewish and Catholic. I am 6'7". Did you catch it? The lie? Most lasting childhood games survive for a reason, and this one is long-standing. This is a teaching game. It's teaching those of us who play how to do something that life will require of us. It is teaching us how to tell the truth and how to lie, and how to discern the difference, both when we speak those truths and lies and when others. There are innumerable scientific studies about the role of lies in our lives. Most contend that lying takes more energy and more time than telling the truth, that lying is harder, that it requires us to think and to feel more. I had a really hard time coming up with a lie. With the statement that I am 6'7", the first 2 truths were easy. I know them because they are me, but I had to shape the lie from nothing. I could have said 6'8" or 5'11", and saying it aloud felt so funny. It left me with a disquieting sensibility. The game 2 Truths and a Lie teaches us how to wrap our minds and then our mouths around truth and falsehood and feel the difference. The game is also teaching us how to lie. If you're struggling with this, if you're wondering why lying is something we need to learn, if you are considering all the terrible ways that lies are used to oppress, to suppress, to deceive, and to deny, let me offer up one opposing idea. What would you say if Nazis were asking you if Anne Frank was in your attic? Right? I pray you would lie. And my mother's God would want you to lie. Even those with a hard line on truth-telling would want you to lie. Anne Frank? Who's that? Never met her. Buddhists have a hard line on truth-telling. Their ethic is to avoid deception at all costs because they believe that lying has a karmic cost, a cost to our immortal soul. But even Buddhists understand that there is a utility to falsehood. Here's a story from this Buddhist tradition. The Buddha was doing a walking meditation in the forest when he perceived with his all-seeing eye an incident about to occur, and he planned how to respond. A moment later, a terrified-looking man ran past, and the Buddha then stepped a few feet to the left and waited. A gang of brigands approached and asked, "While standing there, did you see a man run past?" "No," replied the Buddha. He was, of course, telling the truth. He'd been standing somewhere else when he saw the man run past. Fast thinking from the Buddha, and possible only perhaps with the blessing of his all-seeing eye. Anyone else out there have one of those? I'm guessing no, Reverend Scott, not you. But you might want to save that line for your next 2 Truths and a Lie game. But we know who else beyond the Buddha is expected, no, matter how cruel this expectation is, to have an all-seeing eye. Mothers. Eyes in the back of their heads, as the expression goes. If we've learned anything in this time of pandemic, it is that none of us can predict the future, can see around the next corner, and then the next. That none of us, not Even Dr. Fauci can keep us all safe. It is a fantasy to imagine that anyone has that kind of power. And lies are a kind of fantasy. The way we hold on to the truth of our aspirations. The statistics are unmistakable. In study after study of human conversation, lies account for a solid portion of our communication. Depending on our daily interactions, we could lie once or 15 times a day. Doubt this? Think of all the times you answered over the past 12 months that you were fine or good when that wasn't even half of your truth. We lie for simplicity's sake. We lie to evade the more challenging conversation. We lie to fake it until we make it. We lie to protect a fragile friend. We lie to protect our own fragile ego. We lie to preserve a relationship. We might not lie to save Anne Frank, but we do lie for egalitarian reasons. We lie because life is tricky, and so are relationships. We lie because we don't really know. We don't really know what the truth is. Just like the rabbis, we remember the story when we have forgotten the rest. So we tell the story, and it is enough. We lie because we are trying to meet expectations that no one can meet, not ever. There's another expression that comes from the Buddhist canon, a slightly more irreverent part of the canon. And it goes like this: always tell the truth even when you're not. It's a kinder, gentler ethic, one that recognizes the complexity of life and the imperfection of all of our interactions. It honors that while a word or a phrase may itself be a lie, our heart, our ethic, our intention might still, not always, but it might still be true. I'm a Unitarian Universalist. My faith heritage is Jewish and Catholic. My mother is the most beautiful person in the world. And she isn't, but she is. Here's the thing, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. I used to look at other families and think, looking in from the outside, that they had it all, that their home was a home full of love, perfect love, and others would occasionally look in at my family's life and think that they saw the same. But over time, I'd learn, and I hope and believe that we all learn that even the shiniest, happiest people are just like the rest of us, struggling to make it work. There's truth there. Truth in the imperfections. There is the truth that this life is incredibly complex and replete with challenge, and nothing worth doing is going to be easy. There is truth in the lies that we tell to keep going. It is the truth of our will, our commitment, our decision to keep loving. My mother's God knows this. It's why my mother's God is okay with our using plastic cups to drink our communion over my bubby's grave. I love my mother's God for this witness to all that is undone, imperfect, and yet replete with love throughout this beautiful and aching world. So tell your truth. Tell it when you can, and know that always and everything and everyone is imperfect. Amen. Will you reflect with me? What is one way that you tell the truth even when you're not? Now please, rise in body or in spirit and sing with us. There is a river flowing in my soul.
There's
There is a river flowing in your soul. It runs through the imperfection of your human foibles.
It is not caught on your sharp edges or your broken spots or your past indiscretions.
It runs through all that makes us human and real,
cleansing and healing and holding us through even the most difficult of times.
It is your truth, the truth of your love, the truth of your will, the truth of your connection to the holy.
Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love.
Join us right after this for Connection Cafe. Register for intern Ollie's ordination on Saturday, 22nd of May. And until we meet again, virtually or otherwise, you're always in our hearts.
Swing low, sweet chariot, come and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, come and carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? A band of angels coming after me. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, tell all my people I'm coming there too. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. When you get there, there'll be no pain. And Mama will be there calling your name. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sweet For you I sing, the light that brings the voices of the children, of golden leaves on bending trees, the wind that blows them over, across the hills and canyons wide, to touch the water flowing, and all along the mountainsides, beyond the fields of clover. For you I sing, the colors bright, dancing on the rainbow that moves across the darkened sky, the bridge that crosses over to all the places we have been, to those whose love has carried us like the birds who rise on wings through the clouds and over. For you I sing, the light that brings the voices of the children. For you I sing, the colors bright, dancing on the rainbow. For you I sing, for you I sing, for you I sing the rainbow. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sound. Let there be Let there be fear and fancy. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Let there be darkness. Let there be sun rising. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. Let there be light. Let there be hope shining. We are like the flower that opens every day. Let there be sun. We are